Hello guys, in this video I am going to discuss about the final account. So before starting with the discussion, just I will introduce myself, Dr. Ambuli, Associate Professor, SR Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. So in this video I am going to discuss about the final account. So in the last video I discussed about the how to record the transaction, classify the transaction and summarize the transaction. So before starting with the discussion, just I have to brief about the this final account. So here, so this recording, classifying, summarizing and finalizing, all this is nothing but the accounting cycle. This is based on the definition of accounting. When you say the definition of accounting, accounting is nothing but art of recording, classifying, summarizing, finalizing and interpreting the result to all interested parties. So here, so last session we have discussed about how to record the transaction, how to classify the transaction and how to summarize the transaction. In this session, I am going to discuss how to finalize a transaction. Before starting with the start discussing about the finalizing the transaction, so what is the purpose of finalizing the transaction? So all businesses, they have to maintain the account and they have to finalize the account at the end of the financial period. So financial period always start from 1st April to 31st March. So on 31st March, they have to finalize the account in order to know about the objective of the business. So the main two objective of the business is nothing but to know profit or loss. Then number two, to know the position of the business. To know profit or loss, those the particular objective can be identified by considering two important variable is nothing but income and expenses. So these income and expenses we have to consider in the final account under the two step. Number one will be trading account, number two will be profit and loss account, or we can say income and expenditure account. The second objective to know the position of the business, that means whether the business is going in a sound manner or not. We have to identify by considering the two important variable is nothing but liabilities and assets. So these two you have to take into account and we have to see what is the total of liability and total of asset. Okay, so in order to know these two objectives, we are going to use final account. So the final account consists of three tier structure. Number one will be trading account, number two will be profit and loss account, and number three will be balance sheet. First we are going to discuss the final in the final account we are going to discuss about the trading and trading account. So already I said this is nothing but a continuous process. So whenever any transaction involved with money, that you have to record by following accounting rules and regulation. After recording those transactions, we have to classify the transactions which are in similar nature, and those classified transaction will find out what is the total of the each classification. Those classification we have to summarize in the form of trial balance to identify whether there is any arithmetical error or not. We are going to consider under the trial balance. So with help of trial balances only, we are going to prepare the final account. So in the trading account, we have to, in the already I said, in the trading account, P&L account, we are going to consider two important variable is nothing but income and expenses, or we can say expense and income. So the expenses and income which are recurring nature, which are incurred in a regular basis, those expense only we are taken to, not the capital expenditure. Okay, the first we'll see the trading account. This is the format you have to follow. So in the center of the notebook, what you have to write, trading account for the year ending 31st March 2023. For example, I'm saying this year 2023. So here this is an account. Account means we have a debit and credit. Okay, so in the debit side of the account, we can say as left hand side in your notebook. In the credit side, you have to mention all those in the right hand side of your notebook. Okay, so those who are familiar with the account, they can use debit and credit. Those are not familiar, the debit side I'm consider as the left hand side, and credit side I'm going to consider as the right hand side. So both terminology I will use while explaining the while recording the transaction. Okay, so in the trading account, this is a format you have to follow, you have to memorize. The first info, when you say account, you have to start on the left hand side or the debit side with 2, and the credit side or right hand side we have to use by. Okay, so the first one, 2 opening stock, you have to start with the 2 opening stock. So last year what is the balance you have, that you have to carry forward in this financial year. Okay, so last year the accounts end on 31st March of 2022. So from 1st April 2022 to 31st March 2023, we are maintaining the account, for example. So last year closing stock, how much that we are taking an opening stock here. So it's a mandatory, you have to write this, you have to keep in mind. So definitely they'll give opening stock, you have to write here. Then the next one, the important mandatory information to purchase. So you have to see whether any purchase return or return outward is given in a question. So if it's given, you have to subtract from the purchase, write the inner column. So for example, the purchase in a question they are given as 5 lakh rupees. Return outward or purchase return is given as 50,000. So in this case, what you have to do, so how much the purchase return they are given as, that you have to subtract from your purchase to find out your net purchase. Okay, so here from the purchase, for example, I said 5 lakh, from that you have subtract return as 50,000, you have to write in the outer column 4,50,000. Then apart from that, these two are important information. Then the later that what you have to do, what are the expenses incurred in factory level, those in expenses you have to write it here. So this you have to, because I am familiar with that, I can say wages, freight, carriage inward, clearing charges, packing charges, dog dues, or any term start with the factory or manufacturing, you have to consider under year only. So octroi duty. So all these expenses is given in your trial balance. When it is given in the trial balance, you have to write it on the left hand side or debit side of your trading account. So here these expenses we can call as direct expenses, because those expenses directly involved in the factory level, that's why it is called as a direct expenses. Okay, then the credit side you have to enter all incomes. The first income is nothing but sales, by sales. Then similar like that, return outward, here also you have any sales return or return outward, return inward. So sales return or sales return or return inward. If in this information is given here, you have to write on the credit side of your account, and you have to subtract from sales, and the net amount only you have to write in the outer column. For example, sales is 10 lakh rupees. Return inward or sales return is 90,000 rupees. From 10 lakh, if you subtract 90,000, you have to write here 9 lakh 10,000 rupees. Then you have to close the account by closing stock. This closing stock compulsory is given in your question. Opening stock, closing stock compulsory is given in a question, and similar like that purchase and return sales. These two information also they given compulsory in a question. Other expenses, direct expenses, wages, freight, carriage invoice, these expenses are optional. Depending upon the information is given, you have to write on the debit side or left hand side of your account. But the credit side only you have sales return and closing stock. Then usually you have to balance the trading account by totaling debit and credit. In the which side the account amount will be more, that you can taking as the balancing value or the total value of left hand side and right hand side, that is debit side and credit side. The difference, suppose for example in this problem you are getting the debit side total is only 6 lakh rupees, but the credit side total is 11 lakh rupees. So 11 lakh minus 6 lakh rupees, because income, credit side is income. When the income is more than your expense, then we can say as profit. So here the difference will appear on the debit side, that you can mention as gross profit. Why we are saying is a gross profit? Because some more expenses and some more income we are not considered while preparing the trading account. That's why whatever we are getting that different, that may be a gross profit or gross loss. When expense is more than in your income, then you'll get a difference on the right hand side of your account, that you can mention as by gross loss, that you have to write either profit or loss only. You'll get in a problem, not both. Okay, then so like this you have to prepare the trading account. The next one, so just I gave explanation about the those items which are given on the debit side, that is you can go through after completing my videos. Okay, then next one will be profit and loss account. So whatever result you are earned in the trading account, that you have to transfer to your profit and loss account. So here the profit and loss account also similar like a trading account. We have a debit and credit. Debit side we are going to write all expenses and losses, and credit side you are going to write all income and gain. Okay, so debit side is nothing but left hand side, and credit side is nothing but your right hand side of your notebook. Okay, so what is the result you have in trading account? That particular result first you have to transfer to your profit and loss account. Okay, so here suppose in the trading account you have a gross profit. So profit is nothing but an income. So that particular gross profit you have to transfer in the P&L account on the income side. Income side is nothing but right hand side. That so you have to transfer. Suppose in the trading account you have a gross loss. Gross loss is nothing but an expense. It's a permanent loss. So that you have to write on the expense side of that in your P&L account is nothing but your left hand side by to gross loss. So this is the first information you have to write. Either gross profit or gross loss you have to transfer to your P&L account. After transferring that, you have to record all other indirect expenses. You have to write on the left hand side or debit side of your P&L account, and credit side you have to record all indirect incomes, that you have to record on the right hand side of the credit side of your account. See here, salaries, rent and rates, stationeries, postage, all these expenses, those expenses are incurred not on the factory. All those expenses are incurred on the office floor. So those expenses only I'm just you can go through once or twice. You can able to memorize, and you can able to recall when while doing the solving the problem. So on the right hand side we have the you have to write all incomes. Those income we can call as indirect income. It may be commission, rent, interest, discount. All these terms they are end with received or earned, or they will mention as CR within bracket. Those information you can transfer on the right hand side or the credit side of your P&L account. Similar like that, after writing all expenses and income, you have to total both the side, debit and credit. So which side you have a higher total, that you are taking as a balancing value of the particular account. Then so which side you have a difference. So the difference, if it appear on the left hand side, that you can call as net loss. If you are getting on the right hand side, sorry, if you are getting the difference on the right hand side, that you can call as net loss. If you are getting the difference on the left hand side, you can call as a net profit. So when you get the difference on the debit side or left hand side, when income is more than the expenses, then only you'll get a difference on the left hand side. See here, suppose here the total, this side total is rupees 8 lakh rupees. Here the total on the debit side you have only 6 lakh rupees. So 8 lakh is more, that's why I'm writing as a balancing value on the both the side. The 2 lakh difference will appear on the debit side or left hand side, that you have to mention as a net profit. Suppose here the reverse, then you can write on the right hand side, that you can call as net loss. Similar like a trading account, I gave explanation for the all the item will appear on the profit and loss account. Then the next statement, the third step in final account is nothing but the balance sheet. So balance sheet is nothing but a statement. This statement we are consider of two important information. One is liability, another one is asset. The main purpose of preparing balance sheet to know whether the business is sound or not. So whether business is going good or not, we are going to find out only with the help of balance sheet. Okay, first we'll see the left hand side. The left hand side always you are going to write is nothing but account is a statement. So in the balance sheet, it's not necessary to mention with to and by. Okay, so left hand side I'm going to write all liabilities, and right hand side I'm going to write all asset, and then I'm going to see what is your total. So liabilities, first one you have to write capital. Along with that you have to add the result, add or subtract the result of your P&L account. Suppose the result of your P&L account is net profit, you have to add it. If it's loss, you have to subtract it. So then other liability you have to consider on the liability side. Similarly, what are asset you have, those asset you have to consider on the asset side. Just guys, please go through once or twice and memorize those liability and asset, and you can easily recall while solving the problem. Then after writing all assets and liabilities, you have to total and see which side you are getting. What is the total of each side. Compulsory you should get, it's a mandatory, you should get both the sides, you should get the same total. If you are getting a same total means, then you can say that your business is going good. So they are maintaining the asset and liability as a proportion, and also spending the expenditure income also in a proper way. Suppose any one side is more, another side is less, then can say that the difference what we are getting is nothing but your suspense account. Okay, then just first I'll explain about the problem which is involved with trading account. From the following details for the year ended 31st March 2018, prepare trading account. So the first step of your final account is nothing but trading account. So trading account you have to prepare by following the debit and credit. So debit side you have date particulars, rupees 2 column. Then credit side also date particulars and 2 column amount column. So here the debit side you are going to write on the left hand side. On credit side you are going to the credit side you are going to enter on the right hand side. So see this problem, the opening stock you are in the trading account, you have to write on the debit side to opening stock. Then purchase, the second one, purchase also you have to write on the debit side to purchase. So before writing a value in the outer column, you have to see whether any purchase return or return outward. See your return outward is given 2500. So 27,000 is your purchase. So 2,500, 5,200 purchase, the value of purchase is not worth, that's why you are returned that. So purchase return or return outward. So that's 5,200 you are subtracting from 27,000. The balance 21,800 is nothing but a net purchase that you are right in the outer column. Then wages, as per the format I said, the wages is your direct expenses. I am going to write here. So in the factory floor, most of the employee working under factory floor are unskilled workers. For them you are paying only wages. That's why wages you have to write in the trading account. Then Mm. Return outward is nothing but, already I said, it's nothing but purchase. I have supplied from purchase. Then return inward. Return inward is nothing but sales. And already sales is given here. So by sales. Sales is the income. So I am writing on the credit side by sales less return inward sales return that you have to subtract. Then write the balance amount in the outer column. That is 40,000 minus 7,000, 33,000. Then the closing stock is given in your question. How much? 5,200. So we always, it's a mandatory, you have to write the closing stock on the credit side. Then total it. Just see the total. The total on the left hand side is how much? That is 21,800, 2,500 and 2,500 and 3,300 and 2,600. Adding this total, you get some value. Then you are on the credit side, if you are right hand side, if you are adding together, what is the value you are getting? That is 33,000 plus 5,200, 38,200. So 38,200 is higher value. I am taking as a balancing value. From 38,200, what is the difference here? By subtracting this, the balance only we can call as gross profit. Then